Hi, good evening, and welcome to yet another episode of our favorite Hen Lives. By now, we've hosted a bunch of episodes and people are loving it. And today, I hope all my listeners and all our listeners of Hen are going to take back something valuable as well. Who are we? Well, we are Hen India, her entrepreneurial network, a networking platform for women led businesses. It's a community of women entrepreneurs focused on inspiring, informing, and supporting each other to build successful businesses along with balanced lives. Today, I have a very special guest, a chartered accountant with over a decade of experience, right? Chartered accountancy obviously brings to mind numbers and quite a bunch of scary things like compliances. But she is going to really simplify things for us because she specializes in corporate compliance and tax litigation. She's really passionate about empowering people and businesses, and she excels in identifying non compliances and addressing litigation challenges very effectively. Sounds like a great idea to speak to her today. Please join me in welcoming Lakshmi N. Hi, Lakshmi.
Hi, good evening, Gunjan. That was really nice of you to introduce me as non-compliance specialist. Thank you so much.
Yes, it
So,
is a pleasure. It is a pleasure. We are going to be talking about what might be a very scary topic for people, right? Numbers scare people, legalization, litigation, all of this scares people, right?
actually, it is not very scary, Gunjan.
I
Okay,
know.
it's a very scary. Actually, litigation. It happens when you are not following the rule. It's as simple as
Hmm.
that. When you are driving, you always go by the left side, right? You don't
Amazing.
go by the right side in India.
Yes.
So while running a business, you are supposed to go and follow certain rules. And when you're doing a business right from the start, even if you are a simple proprietorship businessman, or even if you're or a partnership or a company, if you're obeying the rules right from the beginning, mamla simple hai. That
Wow,
is
I
how
could not have got a more simpler explanation or an analogy, in terms of driving, right? Right? If you just follow your lane and your rules, it's all going to turn out very simple. Fantastic, Lakshmi. Thank you. That already gets me excited and gives me a flavor of what might be coming up. Before we proceed, Lakshmi, though, I would love you to give a short introduction of yourself to our, listeners today so that they know who they are talking with and who's going to be sharing these amazing tips with them.
Hi. Hello all. I'm Lekshmi. I'm a chartered accountant from Alleppey, Kerala. I got more than 10 years of experience in taxation, litigation, and corporate compliances. So now the question you may be asking, maybe, why are you interested in compliance, right, Gunjan?
Yes.
So I'm very passionate about compliance, right? As from the analogy as you told. So when you obey the rules, it can give a lot of peace of mind. You don't have to
Hmm.
like the parking ticket, right? Like the parking ticket or the accidents. You don't have to
Hmm.
fear about anything. So that is the
Hmm.
same way when you're running a business.
Hmm. Excellent. What made you get into compliance, Lakshmi? And what
Um,
drives you every day when you come to work?
Actually, one of the other time in the looking into the corporate compliances and the taxation compliances, one of the things that gets my adrenaline pumping is litigation. So
Hmm.
litigation and compliance, they are the two sides of the same coin. If you're not
Can
complying,
you, yeah, can you explain these two words in little more simpler words so
uh,
that
yeah,
yeah.
actually I meant litigation and compliance. They are the two sides of the same coin.
Nice.
Okay, got it. I will explain it. Say, for example, if you're not complying anything, you will be served with a notice or a demand or anything else in future. That is for sure. So
Hmm.
that is where. So when you're not complying, it will end
Hmm.
up in litigation. So since I am interested in litigation, I tend used to have this thought process. Okay, what made these people do this? So
Hmm.
rather than focusing on a litigation, maybe I can make people aware that okay, when you're not following this, this could end up in this kind of penalty or this kind of loss or this kind of tax demand for you. So that is why.
Hmm. Super, super. So I'm guessing a passion for order, a passion for keeping things in the right place might be something that is driving you to do
I
this on a
think
daily.
CAs are known for that, right? Many people follow that.
Yes.
So
Excellent,
nothing
excellent.
special about
So
me.
amazing. So, Lakshmi, I did have a question in mind, but I think I'm kind of already getting the answer from what you are explaining as a driving analogy. So, the kind of, I always wonder what kind of company needs compliance. Does every company need compliance? But I think when you gave the driving analogy, it was fantastic because it's literally like if I'm on the road, if I'm driving, I must know the rules. I cannot just randomly start driving. So, I think every company needs compliance, right?
Gunjan, it's not about the structure of the business. Okay, it's not only
Okay.
a company. Okay, you are doing business.
Hmm.
Okay,
Yes.
I assume you are okay. So you are also you assume your yours is not a corporate structure, or may say for example any X Y or Z watching this show. Okay, our viewers. So somebody may be having a freelance platform, freelance business. Somebody may be doing a partnership, or somebody may be doing LLP. So everybody, every business structure, irrespective of whether a partnership, whether a LLP, whether a company, they are supposed to do the complaints. That is, it's rock solid. You
Mm.
cannot escape complaints.
Hmm. Hmm.
So, for
Excellent. And
example,
how do you? Yeah. Hmm. Hmm. Please continue. I'll ask you later. Hmm.
yeah. Say, for example, if you are a freelancer,
Hmm.
say, for example, I'm a freelancer. I'm doing software coding, or I'm exporting some software. I'm
Hmm.
supposed to do some compliances.
Hmm.
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 It doesn't
Right.
matter that I am going to a co-working space and doing my job on laptop. It doesn't work that way.
Hmm. Hmm. Where do I go to know what kind of compliances I need? Maybe come to a CA like you. Is that the right thing to do?
My advice will be, go to a CA or any other legal professional who
Hmm.
are into this thing, because
Hmm.
every business, depending
Hmm.
upon the type of business, the type of
Hmm.
complaints vary. Because a
Yes.
complaints as a proprietorship, a complaints may be some other structure. A
Hmm.
company, a small company, it may be having some other complaints. And also
Hmm.
the complaints varies as per the business also. Okay, the business
Hmm.
requirements also. A manufacturing company is supposed to have some other compliances. A service industry is supposed to have some other compliances. A
Hmm.
business doing export is bound to have some other compliances. Business, a company doing money lending business, a firm doing
Hmm.
money lending business, they need to
Hmm.
have the RP compliances also. So it depends
Hmm.
upon what type of cookie you have on your plate. It depends
Hmm.
upon the complaints. So
Right.
you need to have an expert who is,
Hmm.
who can guide you through the matters. So
Hmm.
SEA or a CS or a legal professional for any other matter.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Could you give me one? And of course, you gave a bunch of examples of different kinds of companies who have different sorts of compliances. Give
Yeah.
me, for example, say one kind of company which may have say three compliances that they must adhere to at all times. Just to kind of elucidate it a little bit more.
Uh, Say, for example, a company having export and import. Okay,
Sure. Sure.
export. A company is doing and export into export and import businesses. So first of all, they should comply by the rules of the customs.
Hmm.
The
Ah. Okay.
second,
Hmm.
okay, customs act comes
Hmm.
into place.
Hmm.
The second, it must adhere to the uh, RBI compliances, because money
Hmm.
and goods are coming in and out of the country. The
Nice.
third, GST is also comes into picture. So I
Hmm.
can only give you brief, because if I pick up one example, then it
Of
will
course.
run into pages and pages. So it's
Of
as
course.
simple as that,
Yeah, yeah. Just a sense I wanted. Yes, absolutely. I'll quickly go into a couple of messages that our viewers are sending us. So, hi Sonia, she's saying a hi to both you and me. And Mr. Manish Mittal says that it's an important subject, which we completely agree with Mr. Manish. Absolutely, which is why we thought it'd be a great idea to speak about this today. Right. So, Lakshmi, I will also want to jump to the other side. Right. Of course, the opposite of compliance is non-compliance, right? And many a times it's not an intended non-compliance, right? It's not like people are out there to needlessly break the rules and create some sort of disorder, right?
Mm.
How does one improve their knowledge of compliance, a, and two, in case they are non-compliant, what are the risks that they run in that sense, and what they should do to kind of improve their knowledge of compliance and stay up to date with it.
uh, Gunjan, if I might say, okay, you need to stay updated, then obviously the businessman or the people, CEO level people who are running the business, they will not be having any time for running the business. Okay,
Sure.
because our land, the rules and regulations change every day. So
Hmm.
one must have a proper complaint system in place. One should have a
Hmm.
separate department, maybe internal control or the complaints, whatever it may be, or you can
Hmm.
outsource it to somebody else who will be
Hmm.
getting into track into that. So that is
Hmm.
one thing I would say. Other than
Hmm.
that, okay, maybe they can have a meeting with all these departmental heads and everyone, and review the processes and operations to know where anything is coming into short. The
Hmm.
other question, coming to the second part of the question, non-compliances can be pretty hectic, ranging from the penalty, and some
Hmm.
other non-compliances include non-monetary things like prosecution, etc. So
Hmm.
one may not want to go into that area. I'm
Hmm.
not scaring,
Hmm.
but that
Hmm.
is a actual fact.
Okay, okay. And so you are saying that a great way to stay compliant is to keep your eyes and ears open, have a
Yes,
good expert who's there with you, and maybe take regular updates from the people, from that expert on, what are the new compliance rules that have come in for your industry or for your kind
yes,
of company, and then ensure that you are consistently, compliant with it, huh?
yes, yes,
For example, the example of the export company that you took. So, once there is a new RBI rule, then I think it's important to keep an eye on that and keep doing that.
yes, of course, of course.
Interesting. Interesting. Okay. You did spread, throw some light on the risks of non-compliance, right? If I were
Hmm.
to take you slightly deeper into that, and as you said, they may not be great scenarios, but if you can give me some example of what kind, in some more detail of what is a risk, run when you are not complying, and how do you get out of it?
Say for example, uh, okay, I will throw something about these companies act, because that is the
Mm.
easiest thing I can remember at this moment now. Of
Mm.
late, there has been so many adjudication orders and some notices I read online from the ROC, from the MCA database, that
Mm.
people who incorporated the companies, and they were having some virtual office. Okay,
Mm.
the
Mm.
virtual office kind of setup. Actually, it was not permitted, and there were some non-compliances. So the
Mm.
directors, they are supposed to have, uh, they were given the non-compliance in the sense that they were taken to penal action. So that is
Okay.
one non-compliance. Okay,
Mm.
and it all
Mm.
depends on the act to act, Gunjan. Say for example, if I am not complying as a company, if I am not complying with the ROC, it is some other compliance. If I am not complying with the FEMA, then ED comes into picture, maybe at a later date. So
Mm.
it all, the scene, it all changes from
Mm.
the transaction to transaction, the scenario to scenario. We cannot say that it's if you are not doing this, this is the fact. I cannot
Sure.
say a hard and fast, right? But there are some
Mm.
monetary penalties are there, some other
Mm.
penalties are there.
Sure. One more question that comes to mind is that, so I, as an entrepreneur, understand that I must trust or I must work with an expert, right,
Mm.
to help
Yeah.
to ensure compliance, right?
Mm.
How does the expert train himself or herself? Like, what do you do in your community to ensure that you are consistently updated such that the client can depend on you more and more?
Knowledge updation every day.
Wow. Wow, amazing. And I guess that also differentiates one CA from the other or one compliance expert from the other, right?
Yes.
Okay, that leads me to the question that then what should the entrepreneur look at when they are taking, choosing a compliance expert or a CA, maybe a 5 point checklist that you want to tell us that, you should ensure that they should be, consistently updating or something, how do I choose the right person for me?
See, yeah, even if I say I am consistently updating, you cannot come and check with me, right?
No, no,
Okay.
yeah.
So what I would suggest is that have one-to-one meeting with the CA first,
Mhm,
okay, or the
mhm,
person with first, and
mhm,
be honest with your requirements. Be
Hmm.
honest with your requirements, and
Hmm.
before meeting that CA, at least be prepared with the background of your case. You should be knowing the business first, okay?
Hmm.
Because it is like
Hmm.
without knowing my story first, I cannot narrate it to another, है ना?
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
I cannot tell you 5 point checklist, but
Hmm.
one must be prepared thoroughly, and one must have an opinion about what. Say for example, if you are to seek me or any other person as a compliance advisor, you should uh, give me a brief about what are you expecting me to do. Okay,
Hmm.
from there on I can do, like I can review your financials, or I can say have a look at the business operations. I can say, hey Gunjan, this is so and so, and this is where you can make things a better in a complaint.
Interesting. Interesting. So I think in a way you are saying that, like choosing any other service partner, here also you have to educate, the entrepreneur must educate themselves first.
Yes, of
Let go
course.
of any hesitation or any misconception that they may have, that it's a scary place, or you don't know if it really matters to you or not, but really just go for it, and update yourself and then choose the right partner for yourself.
Yes, of course. I'm saying that it's not possible for entrepreneur to educate about
I
everything about the
understand.
business.
Of
Yeah,
course.
but then
Of course.
they must have this. No, I'm doing export, so I have this kind of acts in
Hmm.
place. I am bound
Hmm.
to buy this. I'm doing
And
food business. I'm bound to buy the FSSI central license, right? I'm in a
understood.
manufacturing. Then Factories Act is coming into place. Okay,
Hmm.
so these
Hmm.
kind of things one must be.
Interesting.
The
Interesting.
basics one must be aware, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Great. I do have a question from one of our viewers, Sonia, who says how to decide who is the right option for us as per our business. For example, she is saying that she's a small business that runs a proprietorship. You
Hmm.
know, so how does then one go about choosing who might be there,
Uh,
right?
So for a proprietorship, Sonia, I think you can approach your local CA who is doing your ITR, or you can approach a CA who is well versed into this. Uh, Depending upon the business structure or the type of business, he or she may be able to guide
Hmm.
you.
Nice, interesting. I hope that helps, Sonia. Okay. Now, Lakshmi, moving on to a little interesting part of the whole thing. Well, many times such concepts are very easily explained through stories, right? So maybe I was hoping to, tap into some of your experience and share, if you can share a couple of your experiences and case stories, right? Which will help our viewers understand further about the importance and, of compliance and non-compliance, right? Maybe you can tell us a short story of a company that complied from the very beginning, and how it made really matters much more smoother for them in their kind of journey ahead. That would be a great insight, and probably
Mm.
encourage all our viewers to look at compliance in a nice positive manner.
Okay, Kunchul, there is one company, because the owners are very proactive about
Hmm.
going all these complaints, because they know the value of paying the right price, and
Hmm.
they are very very organized and systematic, and maybe their values are like that. Okay,
Hmm.
so they
Hmm.
have put us in charge of these complaints, and I think we have done justice to that, thank god.
Hmm.
So,
Hmm.
and the good thing we have no we have noticed is that
Hmm.
people like to do business with them because things are always in order. Okay,
Hmm.
things are always
Hmm.
in order. Even the bank also likes to do business with them. Vendors like to do business with them, and as a CEO or
Hmm.
as people managing their affairs, we also like to do business with them. So that is that is one thing. That is a one great thing I like about that company. I cannot say the name. So the
Hmm.
other non-compliance wala, yeah, I am reminded of this example. There was a company in which foreign investment was made. So one of the
Hmm.
conditions in an RBA, as per the FEMA, once a foreign investment is being made in India, it has to be reported to the RBA. But
Hmm.
this was a startup; they failed to report. I mean, maybe by mistake or by
Sure.
oversight, yeah, they failed to report. And after that, this case was referred to me. So
Hmm.
I cannot turn back the clock, right? So I cannot
Hmm.
turn back the clock, but we did some filings by by opting for some late fee and something like that, some other
Hmm.
procedures in place, so that the further non-compliances will be minimalized, so that something is better than nothing. uh,
Agreed.
because it's like, we did the mistake, we did not file it at the right time, but we are opting for late submission.
Excellent.
So
Hmm.
that window we opened.
Hmm.
If we had not opted for that, if the RBI knocked our door, it would have been some other area. So these are the
Hmm.
kind of things that one should always
Interesting.
look into. Simple things.
Interesting.
People will think that, it's a
Yeah.
start. We are not bound by the complaints. It's not like that.
Yeah, yeah,
Mm.
excellent. Yes, you give us two great stories of both compliance as well as non-compliance. Fantastic. I have another interesting question from Ruchi, who says that while testing a business model, how to handle the compliances. Sometimes, for example, license can be expensive for bootstrap businesses specifically. And perhaps it then makes sense to first test the model and then invest in the license. So, have you faced anything like this? Do you have anything, any tips on this or suggestions on this?
No, Ruchi, I haven't, faced anything like this because, yeah, of course, the getting a trade license or any other thing like that, it is becoming very expensive nowadays in India. But then
Mm,
without that, we cannot function as such, right? It is
mm,
not
mm,
about the complaints part. It is another, mode of business things we cannot talk at this point of time due to the short of time. So
mm,
yes, of course, right now I would suggest is that if you're a bootstrap business, you cannot go for a monthly or daily complaints. Okay, you cannot have a internal audit system in place, but rather than, you can opt for a quarterly or a half yearly checkup review by your CA or some other CA. That is
mm,
also fine.
mm. Mm-hmm. Excellent, excellent, excellent. I think going great, Lakshmi. You especially, the way you've simplified it, right from the driving analogy, or the time when you said that taxation and or compliance and litigations are really two sides of the same coin. It's personally helped me understand a lot more concepts, much better, and I'm sure our audience would say the same. Um, the last, as we kind of come to a close, one of the things I want to ask you is, five must do business compliances, that a business should be mindful of.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, this is the first one. Okay, keep proper books of account.
Mm,
Why I suggest you to keep proper books of account and treat them separately is that, people think that books of account, this is my company, this is my money, I can take it anyway. Say for example, leave the company. It's about
mm,
this proprietorship also, but it's
mm,
not like that. We say na, it's our body and atma, both are different. Same thing
mm,
applies to books of accounts only. Also, this is your company's money, it is not yours. Okay, it's a separate entity. So from the
mm,
right from the, day one of your business, have separate books of account, have separate transactions, have separate bank account, so that everything will be proper place.
mm,
Second one is, now it's a era of GST, and separate
mm,
that goes for another more topic. But have your, revenues audited. Take a look at your bank statement. If you're a service provider, take if it is exceeding 20 lakhs. For other states, if it is, or for other, if it's a trader and other things, if it is, check it is exceeding 40 lakhs, etc.
mm,
Okay, and that is another thing that I would like to know. Then the third one is, have a check about the employee related compliances, because I have seen that this startup
employer related.
employee
Employer
employee
related.
yeah, because, you as an organization, whether you are a proprietorship or a partnership or a company, you are bound by certain employee related compliances. Say for example, ESI.
This stands for how many, like, what's the minimum strength of employees to have for this
So
to come into effect?
ESA, for an organization to have an ESA 10, okay,
uh,
PF 20, and
mm,
many they will ignore this POSH, prevention of sexual harassment wala complaints. Okay, POSH 10. So have a look at it. It applies whether it doesn't matter whether you are on record or contractual or anything like that.
mm,
So
mm,
you need to have a look at the number of the employees and then have that proper complaint system in place. That
mm,
is one thing I would like to have. Then the fourth one is, all these RBI wala related complaints.
mm, mm,
When you're doing a transaction, whether it is $1 or $1,000 or 1 million,
mm,
if it is crossing the, Indian territory, please have a check with the bank or a FEMA specialist or somebody who can guide you.
mm, mm, mm.
And any other thing did I miss?
That's good enough. I think that's so good. Yeah, the employer-employee one, the books of
Yeah,
accounts, and this,
GST.
the GST, and of course the transaction fees.
Yes.
Interesting, interesting, amazing, amazing. And Sonia, of course, thanks for sharing that you love the example. I completely agree. I think Lakshmi has, done her best to really simplify the concept in such good, analogies. So I am definitely not going to forget that, right? So, as we come to the end, Sonia, I'll say your words. I had read it in your post, which you said to comply or not to comply, right? That's really the question. And I think I got the answer very, very clearly that there is no doubt on, not complying, right? Like you just made it like it's just like ABC, right? If you do this, then, compliance it just follows naturally from it, right?
Mm.
Any last words from you before we say bye to our you know viewers on this one
Uh, it's
line.
a Uh, Thank you, Gunjan. That was very nice of you. Okay, nice words. And I would say that it's always prevention is better than cure. Okay, so
Okay.
prevent wherever the areas in which you can have the non-compliance from happening. It's not that hundred
Hmm.
percent we can do that, but then have a periodic review that
Hmm.
helps.
Correct, correct, correct. Excellent. Sonia and Harsha, thank you so much for appreciating. And I know that, I completely agree that it's an important topic for entrepreneurs. And, as you again said in one of your posts I had seen earlier, that, if you thought that compliance is something that is, expensive, think of the cost of non-compliance, right? So I think that too is a gem of a statement that you've been able to give us. So, on that note, Lakshmi, really thank you so much for giving us your time and such valuable insights, and really making it so much easier for us to understand what compliance and legalities and the whole taxation world is all about. It's been a great time chatting with you, and thank you so much for bringing
Thank you,
value to us.
Gunjan. Thank you. Thank you.
Bye bye. Bye.